I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi everyone, it's Carden here, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. And I am super excited this week to interview my guest, Carissa Karner. You are going to fall in love with her. You're going to love her story. You're going to love what she's doing. And I am just so honored that she is on here sharing her expertise and her knowledge and her wisdom. And you're going to find her just so entertaining as well, because we'll talk about that. But Carissa, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Anne. I am so thrilled to be here with you today.
Well, I am happy to have you on. And here's what I'm really happy about. Carissa got the email about what color to wear. So if you're listening to this through audio, you can't see that we almost wore the same identical colors, tops, and that was not planned. It was kind of funny when we got on here, so I told her I had to make a joke about that. But anyway, so we are going to jump in here, but Carissa is a world-class speaking coach, and need I say more? But I'm going to say more because here's the whole thing. She has had literally thousands of hours on a stage, and she has started out on the Disney stage. I'll let her talk about that. She's worked for Universal Studios on their stage. She's been on a TedX stage. She built an entire business, a psychotherapy business around speaking and being on stages and being at the front of the room. So I don't think I have ever interviewed a more experienced speaking coach. I mean, I know you're going to have so much to share. So quite a backstory, Carissa.
Thank you. What an incredible introduction. Wow. I feel impressed with myself, which I don't normally do. So that felt wonderful. Thank you. And I really have. I've been on so many stages. I started as a little girl. I was so shy. I could barely look people in the eye. I couldn't speak. I couldn't even speak loud enough for people to hear me. But I discovered acting. And that was a way for me to step out and play a character. So I could be silly, I could be loud, I could do different things. It gave me permission to be somebody else. But, I was playing a character. So it took a long time until I learned I discovered how to speak up as myself and be able to speak with my own words, to craft my own talks, to craft my own speeches, and be myself on stages in front of people.
I love it. And she has, this big, beautiful smile, but she also has these animation, these facial expressions that are very animated. And she just makes me smile every time I am talking to her or come in contact with her. She just is one of those people that just lights up a room and lights up the stage, and definitely lights up even the virtual stage. So if you are watching this on video, you're getting the best. So I love that story. And I know you told the story about going out and you had a teacher, I think it was, when you were younger, that had you going out and screaming in Yosemite. Is that right? At the trees?
That's right. I grew up in Yosemite National Park, and my favorite teacher, Mrs. Zierenberg, one day I was in 6th grade, and she announced, class, we're going to put on this play. And my mom was a storyteller, and my mom was a librarian, and she had also done some acting. And so I thought, acting sounds really neat. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I am so shy. There is no way I can do it. But somehow I gathered up my courage and I got the script and I learned the lines and I went and I auditioned and I got the part. in hindsight, because I was the only one who auditioned for it, but still I got the part. And my teacher, though, she pulled me aside, Mrs. Ehrenberg, and she said, Carissa, I really think you're going to be great at this. And we can't hear a word you're saying. And so my little heart just dropped and I thought, oh no, I shouldn't have even tried. And then she said, wait a minute, I have an idea. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go outside your house in Yosemite and say your lines to the trees as loud as you can. And so I did that. And that's really how I started learning how to use my voice. I spoke to the trees like Mrs. Ehrenberg told me.
That was your first speaking skill.
It was my first speaking skill. Yes. And so my opening night, I could speak loud enough that everyone could hear me. And yeah, that was where it all began.
I love it. That's amazing. And you really have had an amazing career. And, we see a lot of speaking coaches out there and they've come from a stage and they've maybe got hours on a stage and experience in that way. But the one thing that really, I think, Carissa, makes you such an expert and really makes you stand out is the fact that you really can pull that performance experience in. And you got paid as a performer. It's not like you just did that for free as a hobby. You were paid for performing on stages for many, many years. And when you started your psychotherapy business, you actually built that business to the level that you did, multiple six figures, if you don't mind me saying that. If you do, we'll cut that part out.
Don't mind at all.
But you did that. Really, you launched that from speaking. And so, and the reason I love that story is because I have built a lot of businesses in the past, and speaking was the main way that I got those businesses launched and helped them be successful. And so I absolutely believe it is one of the most powerful marketing strategies. And so that's why I just love talking to you, because it's such a powerful way for people to grow their business, grow their income. And with all of your expertise, that is what brought you to what you're doing now. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Like you said, I did get paid for my acting. So I was a performer for many years. I performed at Disneyland and Universal Studios. I was even a clown with Ringling Brothers Circus. I performed at the Natural History Museum of LA County, all kinds of different and cool places that built my skills. And then when I started my psychotherapy practice, that's when I decided to make a shift in my life and go back to school. But what I found is as I was doing psychotherapy, I kind of felt like I was disappearing because I wasn't using my voice anymore. I was in this tiny room with one person. And so I had to go out and seek help, seek coaching to show me how to use my voice. And so little by little, I built the skills to be able to speak, and not just speaking on a big stage with a spotlight, but there are so many ways that you need to speak to build a business. Mm-hmm. It's speaking to in a networking meeting, going and presenting about what your expertise is, talking about your expertise, of course, standing on stage, doing workshops, and then giving those bigger talks, those bigger keynotes and things like that as well, of course, is huge for building your business.
Right.
But all of those little pieces along the way and the big pieces with speaking are what can be the most powerful way to build a business, the most powerful marketing asset you have.
I absolutely believe that. And whether that is a virtual stage and now, we can thank COVID for that, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone had to really even shift and pivot to be on virtual stages. And I don't know, I wonder if it will ever go back to where it's all live. I think there's always going to be a hybrid now or a combination. And so you really do have to have skills to be able to do both of those things.
Yes.
In the marketplace today. So I love that. One of the things that you hit on is you said I had to learn those skills. So even though you came from hours and hours on a stage, it's like with anything, when you're doing something new and different, now there is a new skill set to learn. And people don't often realize that. I think they think, oh, well, this will transfer. Sometimes some of those skills transfer. Sometimes they do not. Speaking on a virtual stage where you're only showing, from the chest up, right? you don't have to worry about your legs fidgeting, and you don't have to worry about a lot of things that walking back and forth on a stage and all of those things. So those are different skill sets, and you have to still somewhat be animated on a virtual stage as well. So
exactly. Yes. And like you said too, I do draw from my acting background, but there are things that acting does not teach you when it comes to speaking and being yourself. And so it is another piece of the skill set that you have to learn. And then you're so right. Speaking on a live stage is different than speaking on a virtual stage. And now we really do, as speakers, it's so important that you have the skills for both. You have the skills to speak on camera, and you have the skills to speak live.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, I know you have a special program, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but let's talk about some of the problems that you solve, because you don't just help people be better speakers, which, by the way, everyone thinks they're a good speaker, or most people that speak think they're a great speaker. But I know, as I've been speaking for, oh my gosh, probably over 40 years, I am still learning tips from you, from some of your little videos and some of your clips that you have put out there. And so we never quit learning, and we have to keep getting better, because the market is getting more competitive in the speaking world now. So you can't just be mediocre anymore. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's so important to learn the skills to stand out, because if you don't, you're missing an opportunity. Speaking is one of the ways that you can get in front of people. You can draw people to you. You get the spotlight shown on you. And if you don't have the skills, so if you're showing up, it's like, if you show up to perform a concert and you're terrible, everybody's going to leave. But if you get on that stage and you have the skills to be compelling, you know how to tell great stories, you know how to engage your audience right away, you know how to make your material digestible so people leave just wanting more from you, then you're going to be able to make full use of that opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. And so you help people not only, one of your things is speak your way to an extra 100K.
That's
and as
right.
we were talking about this, she's like, it's really not that hard to help people make 100K with speaking. That's actually pretty easy. But I think that's a really important thing for people to know as well, because when you're in a business, when you're in a real business, or even if you're being paid as a speaker, you can easily get paid $5,000 or $10,000 as a keynote, even if you're not highly professional. Or when I say highly professional, I should say experienced as a paid speaker. But what are some of the things that go into that? Whether someone is trying to get on bigger stages and get paid as a speaker, or they're trying to get on bigger stages to build their business or grow their business, what are some of the things that they need to know and understand and even learn to be able to do that?
Yeah, sure. So I have a 4-part process that I use in my Speaker in Demand program. And what we always start with is a speaker strategy. I see so many people, and I talk to so many people who say, oh yeah, I'm going out and speaking, but it's not really getting me anywhere. And it's usually because they haven't figured out where they want to go. So to make speaking that vehicle to get you to your business goals and your income goals, you need to figure out what those goals are first. And then, reverse engineer so that you can see how speaking is going to take you there. And once you figure that out, it's not hard to see how speaking is going to add an extra $100,000 or more to your business, whether it's through getting paid as a speaker, bringing people to you, getting paid, and magnetizing people to your business because they're learning about you, or selling from the stage. So then your audience is actually taking you home with them by purchasing your product or service because you're selling it from the stage. So there are so many ways that speaking can add that revenue to your business. So we start with that speaker strategy, and then really, you want to package up your expertise into a signature talk. And when you do that, when you get really clear on what you're known for, you can take that signature talk and that packaged expertise, and you can turn it into workshops, into webinars. You can turn it into a book. You can turn it into whatever you want so that you're always ready to speak. And you can go out to all stages, to bigger stages, to different stages, to virtual stages, to interviews like this one, and be able to talk about your expertise, that thing you're known for. And then people
Yes.
know exactly what you're offering.
And when you talk about it that way, it is easy to see. You said workshops and courses and,
Mhm.
coaching and training and being
Yes.
able to sell from the stage or even being paid as a speaker, even combining all of those things. I get paid as a speaker when in certain situations. And then there are other times I don't want to be paid as a speaker. I want to be able to sell from the stage or offer
Yes.
my services because I know that I have bigger opportunity to do that versus just get paid. And so this is all part of that strategy that you're talking about. And a lot of people they don't think about it this way. And it's why they're speaking at Rotary Club and they wonder why no one buys. Well, no one buys because it's not your target audience and there's no one there that needs what you have. And so all of those things, and they're all good. Those are things that are good practice, but ultimately you want to make use of your time if you are trying to use speaking to build your income or your business. So continue. I just wanted to kind of bring that up.
Yes, I love that. And I use something too that I call a speaker map. So it's getting very clear about your message. That's the M, A, your audience, and P, your process. So that your expertise, you're turning it into a proprietary, hard word to say, process. So that is that thing that you're known for. And it really shows how special your expertise is. And then the next stage, of course, is you have to know how to book those speaking engagements. That's a whole nother strategy in and of itself, that if you don't know how to book speaking engagements, you don't know what to charge for your speech, or you don't know how to reach out to people, you don't know where to reach out, you really need those tools and those strategies in order to do that. And like anything, it's just a process. It's just strategy. It's just putting in the skills you learn. Yeah. Yeah.
But you can take the hard road and try to figure it all out on your own and figure. Yeah. And here's the other thing too, that I just kind of want to hit on. Back in the day, maybe you didn't have to have all of these skills to go out and speak and to be on stages and to get paid. And, we talked about the competitive market, whether we like it or not, the speaking market is really, really competitive. And more people every day are coming into the market. And so it is going to be the best of the best that get those better engagements, that get, picked up to be even running workshops at conferences and events and things like that. And so I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think you can be in beginner mode anymore if you are going to really utilize speaking as a marketing strategy.
Absolutely. You'll fall through the cracks. You won't stand out. It's like, if you want to do a TEDx, that it's so important to have a topic and have a title that's going to stand out, because otherwise the people who are selecting who's going to speak at their TEDx, the organizers, if you don't stand out with something truly special, then you're going to fall through the cracks. Yeah. And it's the same with any kind of speaking. If you don't have those skills, then again, you're just going to miss out on those incredible opportunities.
Yeah. And there are a lot of marketing assets that you also need with speaking too. There are speaker one sheets and there are media kits and there are, a particular website, a speaker page and a speaker website. And all of those things are part of those digital assets and those marketing assets that you also need to look credible and to look like you deserve to get paid what you're asking, or to even get on their stage, grace their stage with your presence. Right. But one thing I want to hit on that I don't think I brought up in the very beginning, I might have, but Carissa has been on a TEDx stage, and it's one of the things also that she helps people do. So not just get on other stages and speaker strategy and how to go and market yourself and how to do all of those things, but she also can show you exactly how to put all the pieces in place to get picked up on a TEDx stage. And I have a friend that actually runs a TEDx franchise, and I said, how many people actually apply for every TED Talk? And she said thousands of people. So think about that for a moment. So if you don't really know what you're doing in that arena, you're going to need someone like a Carissa that can walk you through that process and can really help you have the best shot at getting that TED Talk. And what would that do for someone's career, Carissa?
Oh, the TED brand is incredible. So for me, I love this story because for me, because I was out there speaking, because I got myself out into the world with my voice, I had the TEDx opportunity fall into my lap. And this is so often what happens when you speak. When you start getting out there and showing up,
Yes.
opportunities start to come to
Show
you.
up.
You are like a magnet for
You attract
opportunity.
them.
You
That's
attract
right.
them. So that's what happened for me. I mean, I was so lucky in that I just had the TEDx opportunity fall into my lap. And if you don't have that opportunity and you go and you're applying to speak at TEDx, there are things you need. There are strategies you need to make sure that you get selected. And sometimes what you need is to have a cheerleader in your corner because it can take persistence
Yes.
to land that TEDx talk.
Yes.
But you need to know how to stand out. You need to know how to craft a title that's going to grab attention. You just need to know the strategy. And then actually delivering that talk is different. A TEDx is different than a keynote or a breakout session. It's a completely different kind of talk. And so
Right.
to make sure you're following those guidelines and you create something, some people do TEDx and they get 500 views, which is great. But if you're going to go to all that work, you want to deliver a TEDx that's going to live on the internet forever. You want to deliver something that's going to go viral.
It's a great speaker reel too.
Yes. And so then there are strategies to know, how do you use that TEDx talk as part of your marketing strategy so that it doesn't just live on the internet and a few people watch it, but you're using it to show off your expertise and to use the power of the TED brand to help you grow.
That's awesome. And so, okay, so let's go back to your process again, or the things that you do. So you help them really figure out the strategy, which anything that's ever going to be successful, if it does not have a great strategy, you're going to spend a lot of extra time, probably a lot of extra hard work and money to get to, and you may never get there. A great strategy is the foundation for anything, right? Business
so
or anything.
Yes.
So there's that. And then there's crafting your talk, your signature talk. And one thing too, I want to talk about, and I know you'll agree with me on this, is you want your signature talk to pull people to you for what it is you do, for your expertise. So again, that reverse engineering process, what are you trying to get people to do? Now, if you're just getting paid as a speaker and it doesn't matter, then that's one thing. But if you're trying to grow your business or your income through your speaking, then that keynote or that talk, that signature talk, is super important so that it's pulling people to want more from you. Is that not right?
Absolutely. And so I teach a structure, the world-class speaking structure for how to structure your talk. And I believe structure is so important. I've heard people say, oh, you don't need a structure when you talk. You're so much more natural if you have no structure. And I cringe when I hear that because those people typically are chaotic and messy when they deliver a message. But when you have that structure, it gives you something to lean into. It gives you a foundation, and it's so much easier to craft your talk. And then there's a whole nother process for selling from the stage. So if you don't know how to do that, either I hear so many people who are afraid to talk about their product from the stage. So they just kind of hold it inside and they don't give that gift to their audience, or they do it in a way that feels a little too hard hitting. It's like, wow, you're really selling. But I teach a process, I call it stories that sell. I teach a process that allows you to sell from the stage in a way that feels great. It feels good to the audience, and it kind of ignites this fire in the audience that they just want to take you home with them.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. So these are all strategies for how to craft that signature talk and then how to use it to sell from the stage, as well as how to tell stories. There is an art, a strategy to telling stories. So all of these pieces are wrapped in how you learn and you discover how to tell your signature talk in my programs.
One of the things I really love about your program, Carissa, is you're really combining the business side with the speaking skills and everything that they need to be successful as a speaker. And a lot of people are not doing that. They're teaching maybe the business, or they're teaching the speaker skills. They're helping you be a better speaker, or maybe they're just teaching you how to write keynotes. I don't see very many I don't know if I see any, to be quite honest, that are combining all of these things so that you literally are getting the whole ball of wax, so to speak. Probably not the best words, but you're getting the whole thing. And so you don't have to go to 3 or 4 different people to try to get what you need. You can help them craft those keynotes. You have all of the expertise to do that. You can help them get on a TED Talk. I know someone that only helps people get on a TEDx stage, but he doesn't help them with their, doing their keynote. He doesn't help them with their speaker skills. He doesn't do any of that, or even the marketing side, like you talked about. So I think that's a really important thing to know, that you're kind of like a one-stop shop. I never thought about that before, but your speaker and demand program really is like a one-stop shop where people can get everything that they need to be successful in the speaker world, to really grow their income in their business. Is that right?
Yes. And it is a different perspective. I think that it's not just about going out and being a speaker. I mean, I can help you with that if that's what you want to do, but it's really about how to use speaking as a marketing asset, how to use your voice and your expertise and speak about it, so that is what grows your business. That's what lights the fire under your business, or that's what's the fuel of your business.
Yes. And that's the part that makes you different, really.
Exactly. Yes. And something else that I see so often is a lot of really terrific programs, but they show people how to do different things, but there's no kind of ongoing support. And I know from my own perspective that if I don't have somebody holding me accountable and helping me along the way and answering my questions when I'm like, oh, this thing came up and I don't know what to do. If you're in a program where you're not getting a lot of personalized attention, often that's where you'll get stuck, and you won't pursue it. You won't follow through. You won't start trying to get those speaking engagements. You won't
like a course. You're talking about like a course without any kind of real support.
Those really big group programs,
Those too. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're great, but it's so hard to actually get the results you want when you don't have that true support. And so that's something that's so important to me, is not just being a one-stop shop, but giving my clients that support so that they follow through and they achieve their goals and their dreams.
Yes, I love that. And that is one of the things that you do with them at the very beginning is, what are your goals here? What do you want to accomplish with speaking? And how do you see that growing your business? How much money do you want to make from doing that? And those are really, really key questions. So I love everything you're doing. And we have some comments here. Kelly says, Carissa is amazing. She has so much to offer her clients with her expertise. Kelly, I 180%. 200% agree with you. She just has everything. You're the whole thing. You're the whole package, Carissa, and you're offering your clients the whole package. And I just think that is just so incredible. I also love, I know I brought this up earlier, but I also love that you bring the performance side into it, because you are so relaxed on camera. You're so great and you're so natural, but you also just have great facial expressions. You're fun to watch. All of those things are important pieces as well that you work with people on.
Yeah, delivery skills you need to know how to deliver. You can craft a great talk. And some people too, they'll write a talk and so it sounds like it's written. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but I can help you turn that into something that sounds like it's spoken and not like it's written. But many people, they don't know how to actually deliver, especially when you're on stage or on camera. But when you're on stage, I mean, have you ever seen somebody kind of, doing this when they're on stage or pacing back and forth?
Yeah, and they're fidgety.
All of these things they're just tools that you can learn. You can learn how to do it differently. And once you know, then you can do it differently. If you don't know what you don't know. So if you're pacing back and forth and you don't realize, oh man, your audience is exhausted and can't take in anything you say, you won't know to change that. But I do help people with their delivery skills. And it's so fun because that is a lot of my acting background. How do you really engage with people? How do you have fun when you're speaking and you're on camera? And how do you deliver? How do you deliver in a way that's compelling? You can be charismatic. You can be entertaining and fun. Or, if you don't feel like you're a fun, funny person, you can still be so engaging, but to be yourself and be real.
Well, I think I'm funny, but no one else does. So I don't know what to do with that. Okay, I got to laugh. Awesome. I love it. I love what you're talking about. And you have actually your speaker in demand. Now, it is a little bit longer program where you coach people on those skills and you actually help them with their presentation, with their delivery. But you are doing something kind of new right now, which I think is very exciting, where you're helping people with the fundamentals, the front part of your program, where you're helping them with the keynote and the strategy and the marketing strategy. And what am I missing there?
That's right. So yeah, we work on getting your strategy, getting your speaker map. So what I talked about, your message, who your audience is, your signature process, really how to wrap up, package your expertise. So you're working on your strategy, your map, your signature talk, so that you've got that. And that's a big piece, to be able to leave a program with a signature talk that you can take out and take on tour. That is massive. It is a huge confidence hurdle that you're getting over to be able to have that in the bag. And then we're also looking at marketing materials. So like you referenced earlier, the one sheet, your press kit, how to write those emails, how to strategize those pieces, your marketing pieces. We're going to talk about that and get the foundations of that set up as well. And then we're going to use other strategies. So you'll learn how to sell from the stage. You'll learn how to really use storytelling as a tool, and you'll get the structure of how to craft your talk that you're going to use in all kinds of different places, everywhere you go, every time you speak.
Yes.
So I call it the Speaker in Demand Foundations program. So you're getting that foundation that you can take off from.
I love it. And you're going to be getting it right. You're going to be doing it right from the very beginning and not trying to find your way through. And so many people, I can't tell you how many people I know just muddle through and they think, oh, this is not a big deal. I just want to speak. I'm just going to go out and apply to speak. And they just don't have the entire thing really strategized out and really mapped out in the way they need to. And so they flail and they end up really not getting very far with what they're doing. And we know a coach is a shortcut, right? A coach is your shortcut to getting faster results, better results. And so I love that. I love it.
I was just thinking as you were saying what you just said, my mom said, this was brilliant. She said, when someone's an expert, just because they know how to talk about their expertise doesn't mean they know how to speak about their expertise.
Ooh, I love it. And that's really true. That is actually true. So, wow, so great. Well, I love that you're doing this. And again, I think you're one of the only people I know out there that is combining the business side with and she has world-class speaking certifications on top of her thousands and thousands of hours on the stage, which again, just makes her really a true expert. A lot of people call themselves experts. You truly are. And I think that it's going to be so invaluable. It's going to impact so many people's lives, their businesses, their income. I cannot wait for you to just go full force into this and get people on track and really help them get their message out into the world, but also fill up their bank account. Who doesn't want an extra 100K, right?
That's right. You can do both at the same time. Make an impact and grow your income.
Absolutely. And one other thing that we did not talk about, but I think it's important to mention, is you also can help people like leaders and high-level professionals that are trying to maybe speak more, even if it's within their own organization, but maybe they just haven't developed those skills. And so those are also people that you work with to really help them be better communicators, to have better influence with employees or with maybe other colleagues. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, really that art of compelling communication. So I work one-on-one with leaders, high-level leaders, to help them know how to communicate to their teams. We're using those same world-class speaking skills, but applying them perhaps, speaking from the front of the room, speaking to teams, being able to match your speaking abilities and your communication abilities with your leadership capabilities that will just make you an even stronger leader who people feel very comfortable with, very safe and secure being led by, which is so important. The ability to communicate as a leader may be one of the most valuable skills in leadership.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Carissa, this has been so much fun having you on, and you brought so much great value. And I love your program, but give us a couple of speaking tips so people can leave with some good skills that they can apply immediately to the business.
Sure. So the one I'll start with, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine that I notice a lot. And if you do this,
she's probably looking at me.
Well, I don't think you do this anymore, Anne, but if you who are listening, if you do this, please know it's totally okay. But I encourage you to try something new. If you speak to your audience as a big glob of people, like you say, you guys, you all, hey, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to try something new. And remember that every single person in your audience can only experience you as themselves, as one person. And so when you speak to them, speak to one person. So you can think of speaking to one person even as you're looking to all of them. So as I'm speaking now, I might say, you want to try this, rather than, hey, you all might want to try this, because you're not a you all, you're just a you.
Chris, I still do that.
You do?
I do.
So here's a little test. You can try this. So one of my mentors taught me this. It's called the hallway test. So if you are passing someone in the hallway and you say these words and they make sense, keep them in your talk or keep them in your language. So Anne, if you and I were walking down a hallway and we were passing each other and I said, hey, y'all, hey, everyone, how are you all doing today? You might say, Carissa, that is very strange. Are you okay? But if I said, Anne, how are you today? Or even if I didn't use your name, if I just said, how are you? It's so good to see you. I have something to share with you. That would seem normal. So that's the hallway test, and you can try out your language.
Oh, I love it. That is awesome. I've never heard that before, actually. And so I love that. And I am guilty of that, always speaking, hey, everyone, or hi, I do say you all, I do say guys. That's a bad habit. That is a Midwest thing, I want to tell you. Yeah, we grow up saying that. So, but those are some of the things too she's talking about, changing that language that you don't even think about. It's because it's so ingrained in you and it's so natural for you that you don't even realize how it comes off.
Exactly. And it makes a huge difference, because then every single person in your audience feels like you're talking to them. They don't kind of just feel like they're one of a mass, like they're one of a big amoeba, that they are one individual person. And so they'll feel more connected to you. They'll feel more like they want to bring you home with them because you've made a connection.
Yes. And I want you to share this one tip as well, because I saw myself when I saw this tip and I said, ooh, Chris, I do that. One of the things you talked about is putting a period at the end of every line you deliver. And I thought that was so fascinating. So give us an example of that.
Sure. And you can think of it like one line, one thought, and then put a period. So when you speak in run-on sentences and you just go on and you talk and you talk and you talk and you never stop talking, and it's just a sentence that has no end, then you would be speaking in a run-on sentence. And you can notice that's hard to take in. But if you say a sentence and then you put a period at the end, it helps you to pause, and it helps you to keep one thought with one line. So as I'm speaking now, I'm being very conscious of imagining a mental period at the end of each one of my sentences. And it helps me to make sure that I am pausing. I'm giving you, the audience, I'm giving you time to digest it, to take it in. Because if you speak so fast and you merge all of your sentences and your thoughts together, it is hard on your audience, and they won't be able to take in all the wonderful things that you're saying.
You know, I think that the reason that really jumped out at me is because many, many years ago, I learned that when you talk faster, people have to really listen. They have to really pay attention. And so that was probably my natural way of doing it anyway, just saying, but I learned that years and years ago, and you're saying slow down, pause, breathe. give that thought. And the other thing you said when I watched that quick little cute video is you said it also helps you gather your next thoughts so you don't lose your place. And I thought that was really important too. So I loved that tip because it really spoke to me. And that's why I wanted you to share it with everyone. I know we could talk forever, but I value your time. I love, love, love what you're doing. You are absolutely fabulous and amazing. And anyone would be so blessed to work with you. And I know you can help them go to the next level, whether that's with their speaking, whether that's with their income, their keynote, any of those things. So I want to encourage you to reach out to Carissa and have a conversation with her, see if her program is right for you. She has other programs. She can coach you. She can coach you just on your speaking skills if you have all the other pieces in place. So she can really do anything that you need in this space. And I think that's a really important thing to know. So reach out to her. We'll put her link with the show notes, but she is on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook. She has her own Facebook group that you can also join. So Carissa, thank you for being on here. Thank you for matching me, wearing the right color, even though these are not my brand colors at all.
You're wearing my brand colors.
Oh, that's it. So I love what you're doing, and you're just wonderful. And so please reach out to her. Please take advantage of her program. And here's why, because I know for a fact it is not going to stay at the investment that she's got it at right now, because this is the first time she's pulling it from her own program and offering this as kind of a fast start, or like a startup kind of program. So I know it's not going to stay at this, so take advantage of it. If you want to do anything with speaking at all, you should invest in a coach that can take you where you want to go. So Carissa, thank you. Thank you so much for being on with me.
Thank you, Anne. This has been so much fun to have this conversation with you.
It has been. And everyone, I want to thank you for listening, tuning in, connect with Carissa, take advantage of her program. And until next week, you all have an amazing and a wonderful day. God bless you all. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business, and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.